Poor things, said Frida. You asked why I drove them away, asked Kay. You were the sole cause of that. I? Asked Frida, without taking her eyes from the assistants. Your much too kind treatment of the assistants, said Kay. The way you forgave their offenses and smiled at them, stroked their hair, your perpetual sympathy for them. Poor things, you said just now. And finally, this last thing that has happened, that you haven't scrupled even to sacrifice me to save the assistants from a beating. Yes, that's just it. That's what I've been trying to tell you. That's just what makes me unhappy. What keeps me from you, even though I can't think of any greater happiness than to be with you all the time, without interruption, endlessly. Even though I feel that here in this world, there's no undisturbed place for our love, neither in the village nor anywhere else. And I dream of a grave deep and narrow, where we could clasp each other in our arms as with iron bars. And I would hide my face in you, and you would hide your face in me, and nobody would ever see us anymore. But here, look, there at the assistants. It's not you they think of when they clasp their hands, but me. And it's not I who am looking at them, said Kay, but you. Certainly me, said Frida, almost angrily. That's what I've been saying all the time. Why else should they always be at my heels, even if they are messengers of clams? Messengers of clams, repeated Kay, extremely astonished by this designation, though it seemed natural enough at the time. Certainly messengers of clams, said Frida. Even if they are, still they're silly boys too, who need to have more sense hammered into them. What ugly black young demons they are, and how disgusting the contrast is between their faces, which one would say belong to grown-ups, almost to students, and their silly childish behavior. Do you think I don't see that? It makes me feel ashamed for them. Well, that's just it. They don't repel me, but I feel ashamed for them. I can't help looking at them. When one ought to be annoyed with them, I can only laugh at them. When people want to strike them, I can only stroke their hair. And when I'm lying beside you at night, I can't sleep and must always be leaning across you to look at one of them lying rolled up asleep in the blanket, and the other kneeling before the stove, putting in wood. And I have to bend forward so far that I nearly waken you. And it wasn't the cat that frightened me. Oh, I've had experience of cats, and I've had experience as well of disturbed nights in the tap room. It wasn't the cat that frightened me. I'm frightened at myself. No, it didn't need that big feast of a cat to waken me. I start up at the slightest noise. 1 minute I'm afraid you'll waken and spoil everything, and the next I spring up and light the candle to force you to waken at once and protect me. I knew nothing of all this, said Kay. It was only a vague suspicion of it that made me send them away. But now they're gone, and perhaps everything will be all right. Yes, they're gone at last, said Frida. But her face was worried, not happy. Only we don't know who they are. Messengers of clams, I call them in my mind, though not seriously, but perhaps they are really that. Their eyes, those ingenuous and yet flashing eyes, remind me somehow of clams. Yes, that's it. It's clams' glance that sometimes runs through me from their eyes. And so it's not true when I say that I'm ashamed for them. I only wish it were. I know quite well that anywhere else and in anyone else their behavior would seem stupid and offensive. But in them it isn't. I watch their stupid tricks with respect and admiration. But if they're clams messengers, who'll rid us of them? And besides, would it be a good thing to be rid of them? Wouldn't you have to fetch them back at once in that case and be happy if they were still willing to come? You want me to bring them back again? Asked Kay. No, no, said Frida. It's the last thing I desire. The sight of them, if they were to rush in here now, their joy at seeing me again, the way they would hop round like children and stretch out their arms to me like men. No, I don't think I would be able to stand that. But all the same, when I remember that if you keep on hardening your heart to them, it will keep you, perhaps, from ever getting admittance to clam. I want to save you by any means at all from such consequences. In that case, my only wish is for you to let them in. In that case, let them in now, at once. Don't bother about me. What do I matter? I'll defend myself as long as I can. But if I have to surrender, then I'll surrender with the consciousness that that too is for your sake. You only strengthen me in my decisions about the assistants, said Kay. Never will they come in with my will. The fact that I've got them out of this proves at least that in certain circumstances they can be managed, and therefore, in addition, that they have no real connection with clam. Only last night I received a letter from clam, from which it was clear that clam was quite falsely informed about the assistants, from which again one can only draw the conclusion that he is completely indifferent to them. For if that were not so, he would certainly have obtained exact information about them. And the fact that you see clam in them proves nothing, for you're still, unfortunately, under the landlady's influence and see clam everywhere. You're still Clam's sweetheart, and not yet my wife by a long chalk. Sometimes that makes me feel quite dejected. I feel then as if I had lost everything. I feel as if I had only newly come to the village, yet not full of hope as I actually came, but with the knowledge that only disappointments await me, and that I will have to swallow them down, one after another, to the very dregs. But that is only sometimes, Kay added, smiling, when he saw Frida's dejection at hearing his words. And at bottom, it merely proves one good thing. That is, how much you mean to me. And if you order me now to choose between you and the assistants, that's enough to decide the assistant's fate. What an idea, to choose between you and the assistants. But now I want to be rid of them finally, in word and thought as well. Besides, who knows whether the weakness that has come over us both mightn't be due to the fact that we haven't had breakfast yet. That's possible, said Frida, smiling wearily and going about her work. Kay, too, grasped the broom again.